Welcome to Three Witches and a Druid podcast, a Canadian podcast about paganism in today's modern society. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Three Witches and a Druid, where we sit around after having some lovely pizza and some cozy cider and rum and talk about our lives as modern pagans. I'm Margot.
And I'm Maeve.
Gwen.
And I'm Brian. So yeah, this topic was kind of picked off last second. We realized that we're in season 4 and we've never actually just talked about magic. In general, what does it mean? What does it do for you? How do you manifest it? What's it all about?
That's a long subject.
It is. And this is probably a subject we're going to touch on.
Revisit.
Revisit.
You know, I always had my own thoughts on magic. And, I always would say, to some people, well, it's a really proactive prayer. And there's a line from a Mary Stuart book, the gods only go with you if you put yourself in their path.
Yeah.
Or it's, paddling your boat with the flow of the river. It's getting into immersing yourself and joining with the forces of nature around you. If it's all right with you guys, I have this very interesting thing because as of lately, and I've always known that science has caught up to mysticism, but this just describes it just perfectly about just the basis of ourselves, and you can build on this to get into magic. So within the brain, there are specific tissues that are responsible for keeping our heart beating. Of course there are. And what are those tissues made up of? Well, they're made of cells. And what are the cells made up of? Molecules. And what are the molecules made up of? Atoms. And what are those atoms made up of? Subatomic particles. And what are those subatomic particles primarily composed of? And that is energy. As much as we think we're all, solid and this and that, in the end, we are a flowing mass of energy. 99.9% of everything is energy. For me, when you manage to join yourself with that energy and, help give that extra push to it, I guess.
Yeah.
To me, you can perform magic.
I really like to quote, Christians call it prayer, witches call it magic, science call it physics. No one argues that it exists. We just argue about what to call it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's the vibe, man. Atheists call it the vibe. Just go with it. And I think that's a very important thing to remember, is that we are all made up of this energy, and to tap into it and to join with the forces around us can really, really, it can really be beneficial and do magic. I personally am a very kinesthetic. I like to have props. I won't lie. I like the candle. I like the crystals. I like the, burning papers. I enjoy all of that. I enjoy the ceremony of all of that. Everybody doesn't have to. You can do your magic just as effectively without it. But for me, it gives me a place to focus.
Yep.
To join in with these
and
natural
sort
things.
of separate yourself from your mundane world, your mundane tasks, your mundane life, and help shift your consciousness into, now I'm doing magical working. Now I'm manifesting something from the universe. And I know at the store, when people would ask about spell work, letting them know that it's not always going to turn out the way you expect it.
That's for sure.
Don't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And it may take you a little while to understand that that's what's happened.
And the other important thing to remember, and I think all of us have learned this the hard way, be very careful what you ask for. Because the goddess may surely give it to you.
Yes.
Be very careful what you ask for.
I'm thinking about a conversation from maybe a few seasons ago, but I remember somebody had brought up the term spicy psychology.
Yes.
And for some people, that is the only magic that they believe in, that they believe works. And it's basically, entrainment, or it's, cognitive behavioral therapy or something. And I have seen lots of spell working that, if you have a little bit of knowledge of psychology, you can see where, I invest this energy in this talisman, whatever. I touch it. It reminds me to be strong. It reminds me. And I am just training my brain to use symbols or whatever. And it's just behavior therapy.
Yes.
It's just cognitive behavior therapy. But I think there's something more, right?
Well,
I think
definitely
there's something more than that.
How on this planet, even though I did not invest a lot of my own energy into it, but I remember once my knee surgery was canceled in June, and then the months went on saying, wouldn't it be great if I got a date in the middle of December, and then got a date for December 15th.
Yeah.
Like, I do not know how that happened other than magic and manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I had to turn it down, but the fact that I was able to do that. So
I remember you in a position where you were looking for a job, and you were like, I just like somebody to come off the street. All the things we tell you never do with spell work, but I just want somebody to headhunt me, to offer me a position. And I don't have the energy to look. I don't have the energy to do this. You had so many things going on. But I just want this plum thing offered to me. And didn't that happen?
yes.
Like within a few weeks of declaring that to the world, 6 weeks or something, of just saying every so often, I just need somebody to headhunt me.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Yep.
Well, you know, this is in no way insulting. Even the Muggles have the secret.
Yeah.
Same, you know, same sort of deal. And I lately, if you ever notice how sometimes not so much you get on a tangent, but things start presenting itself to you that explain things in a different way. I mean, we always knew that science and mysticism were related, but lately I've been having a lot of how science and mysticism go hand in hand. Especially, you know, I've been reading about quantum entanglement.
Yeah, you had this book you go on about. Did you?
What is that?
You told me about this book about physics. Ignore me, I can't remember what it was.
No, I'm not recalling this. No, it must be someone else.
You had recommended a book at one point. It was a few years ago now. And it was about...
Oh, wasn't it the Dancing Woolly Masters?
Yes,
Yes.
That's it. The Dancing Woolly Masters, yes. About quantum physics.
Yeah.
Whatever. But now I've learned about quantum entanglement, which is absolutely shocking. And all of this. So a lot of times when, you know, religion and science don't go together. Guess what? Paganism and science certainly don't.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the energies around you and what I just said earlier about all the molecules and all the energy we're made up of.
And our connection to the land and the earth and the trees and
the
the
elements
nature and the water. That's all science.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all...
You can prove it with science.
You can. And you can prove, you know, they've proven that trees talk to each other.
Yes.
And that, so, of course, why can't we talk to the trees and the trees talk to us?
Yeah.
It is. And the trees, I had no idea they could be spiteful.
Yes, they can.
Well,
Very spiteful.
yeah, but I think that's when you think about it, you think, well, of course they can, because any being that has autonomy and decision-making abilities, they're going to have good and bad. And, well, and those are our terms, right?
True.
Those are our terms. But yes, through the lens of human behavior, they're going to make random choices.
Well, isn't it interesting when you talk about, you know, that this whole trees making choices and all of that, and then you think about like nature, no fairies, but, you know, nature spirits and all of that, how you hear lots of stories about very unpleasant things that are done by sprites or fairies or whatever. So it's very interesting because they're also completely immersed in that natural world, that the plants around even can be like that too. No fairies. You know how I feel.
I was thinking, Brian brought up books. I would recommend, if you have questions about it, I'd recommend looking for author Dean Radin's book, Real Magic. And so he's a Peter Venkman. What do you call those doctors? Parapsychologist. Whoops. I was like, I know the pop culture character, but I can't think of parapsychology. And has been working for big institutions, universities in the States for a couple of decades now, doing double blind, doing closed experiments, doing work. And in Real Magic, he presents a lot of the work, a number of healings, experiments, blessing of food, how that changes people's physiology, blessed versus non-blessed food, the use of poppets, and they used it for healing as opposed to harming. But, you know, if somebody had complained of neck aches or something, somebody had a poppet of them that they would massage or whatever. And he lays out how the experiments were done. He lays out the mathematical probabilities and chances for error, all those sorts of things. And what I find really interesting in that book is that industry is talking to him. He was asked to present his findings that show up in this book in an insurance industry conference. So when industry knows that they can make money by using these, it's the same reason insurance industries, health coverage industries are interested in entheogens and psilocybin and that sort of thing, because they see results.
Yes.
That's where the push is going to be to get changes in laws, because they don't want to be paying for decades of psychotherapy, mental health resources, if people can, over a short period of time, achieve the same results with a psilocybin. They asked him to present at this industry insurance conference. Pretty freaking amazing that it's possible that capitalism will legitimize magical practices within the cultural context.
Isn't that interesting? I had not heard of that.
Yeah. So very fascinating. It's an easy read. He's look him up. You can hear him interviewed by a number of people and YouTubes and that sort of thing. So he's very good at explaining his concepts, but that book will be in the library. I, of course, have a copy because I have an issue. I have a problem. I have a problem with books.
As we look around her bookshelf-lined walls.
Yes. Yeah. There's not a room in my house that doesn't have a bookshelf or books on the floor.
We all have a problem of some sort like that.
That's right.
So this, I almost cried when I even books I haven't read in 20 years, it's time for me to donate them to the library. I almost cried. I'm half in tears walking them out the door to donate them. It's like, I will never read these again. I understand. It's nutty. More and more sciences. I mean, even Dr. Emoto and his experiments with the water, and even just this whole the old remember the old sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, now names do hurt you, and they have science behind how this negativity can affect you at a cellular level. So it's very, very interesting. And now we're talking about the science of magic.
That's all right.
We always tangent, right? So sometimes it's even hard. And sometimes I've often wondered that if you're having a really, really crummy day and you start saying, okay, no, things are better, things are better, things are better. I wonder if it works even if you don't believe it. Sometimes I might be saying it going, I just don't feel this in my heart at all. But if I keep saying it, will it work?
I think if you keep saying it.
You know what I
of it all
do is I can get caught in traffic and then you think to yourself, there is no way I can get from where I am to where I need to be in the time I have allotted. And I have come to the realization that if I chant over and over, I have more than enough time. I have more than enough time. I have more than enough time. I am rarely late. Is that because I'm more calmly navigating through, this stop and go traffic? I don't know. Is it because time is elastic and we think of it in a mechanistic way, but maybe I have more than enough time if I don't know, but it works, so I do it.
It keeps you calm so you don't ran the person in front of you
which
clearly pace carring and making you life for the event.
and I mean, that can be a thing, but I have learned to adjust things like that. So I don't know.
Truly believe you have enough time, or do you start saying it?
Oh, I say it when I think, oh my goodness, this is going to be very bad for me. And I start from a place of, oh my goodness, yeah, this is terrible. And it is calming for me, but I also see that I am somehow getting from where I was to where I need to be, that time is a bit elastic for me. So try it and give me your feedback. I'm always curious.
And that was something else too that I believe and would talk about at the store is if you do magic, keep a record of what your goal was, what you did, how you went about it, what the outcome was. And even if you think it didn't work, if you go back and look at that 6 months later,
you may find
you are going to be surprised.
Yeah.
That things have worked out in your favor because you took this action.
Yeah.
And it may not have been, like I said earlier, what you were aiming for, what you thought you wanted, but it worked out how it needed to be and it to your benefit.
And it is very, very good idea to keep record of these things because you think you'll remember and you don't.
Yeah.
So I'll always try to keep a record.
I think also what you pay attention to manifests more and more in your life, right? So where you put your attention, you notice more and more things. So all those synchronicities and all those magical results add up over time. They just add up and they just get critical mass, and then things fall into place and you get far more coming back. I was thinking Mavis, huge Star Wars fan. We have a friend in common who here in Nova Scotia, we have these random vehicle checks. You're driving your vehicle. They check you to see if you have this little sticker that says you've had a motor vehicle inspection. And their motor vehicle inspection was not up to date. And they knew that this was coming. They had people pulling over and there was like car after car being checked. And she, in true Star Wars fashion, our friend started saying, these are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. And I now call it the these are not the droids you're looking for spell. And the guy looked at their motor vehicle inspection, which was clearly out of date, and said, carry on. And I was like, that is awesome. I'm going to use that.
I was really hoping she was going to say that to the officer.
No.
While waving her hand.
It's not the droids you're looking for.
She quoted that. She just was, her partner was driving, her husband was driving, and she was in the passenger seat just, these are not the droids you're looking for.
Isn't
and
that
he looked at the motor vehicle
awesome?
inspection and then waved her on. And I know, Margot, you have used that since for the same purpose, the traffic stop, because it's like made for the traffic stop.
Yeah.
And is there not, like you think about energy and getting into a flow, how many more people have not bought into Star Wars? Like percentage wise of the planet, it's massive. More than Santa, I dare say, since our thinking about our last episode. You know, buying into that symbolism and that whatever, and chanting that, it's
Kind of want to make the episode's title that.
these are not the droids you're looking for.
That's a good one. That's excellent.
But yeah, move with the symbols and the things that work in your life too.
I also think, I'll just bring this up very quickly, when you're doing your magic, it is very important to pay attention to the cycle of the moon. So you're not, again, paddling upstream. Is it waxing? Is it waning? Is it full? And it does not matter what you need to do. You can do it at any phase of the moon. It's going to be how you word it.
Framing.
Yeah, how you frame it. You can do things anytime. You know, the waning of the moon. Oh, I need a place to live. I need a place to live. You can say, please remove any obstacles that will prevent me from finding a place to live. As opposed to, I need a place to live. I need a place to live. Remove the obstacles that is preventing me. You know, remove anything that is, you know, hiding, you know, whatever the case might be. So I think the phase of the moon is very important. And Brian, you're pretty quiet over there.
Yeah, magic for me, like, I'm a pretty practical pagan. So I believe in magic. I believe it exists. It's not something I believe I have any control or say over. There's an entire section within ADF called the Initiates Program, which is very into magic and the flow of magic. But that's not my cup of tea.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not that I don't believe in it. It's just I believe it's bigger than me.
It's not part of your
oh
practice.
my goodness, it's definitely
It's
bigger.
definitely
Like, I have no delusions that I have any.
No.
Yeah.
But to a point that I don't feel I have any. I can't pull off the whole. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Give it a try.
Yeah, I'm going to now.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
But I'm going to end up saying that to the police officer.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
And you better hope that he's a Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then he'll know something's up, and he'll check my trunk.
Yeah, there we are. Next thing you know, you're being taken down to the station. All of that. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, you can certainly reach us on our Facebook page. If you have any suggestions for a future show, we are always open to ideas. We're very excited to hear from people.
Hello, beloved listeners and patrons of Three Witches and a Druid podcast. We would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude for your unwavering support of our podcast. With your encouragement, we have been able to explore and celebrate the rich and diverse world of paganism and spirituality. We feel blessed to have had the opportunity to share our knowledge and experiences with you. As we continue to grow and evolve, we invite you to join us on this journey and become a Patreon member of our podcast. Your contribution will help us to continue creating quality content and provide you with more exciting episodes filled with wisdom, insights, and a little enchantment. By becoming a Patreon member, you will not only support our mission, but you will also have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes goodies, discounts, and much, much more. Together, we can create a thriving and supportive community. to our amazing Patreons who have been there to support us through the past 3 seasons. Sybil, Josie, Catherine, Nicole, Amy Beth, Tomlin, Samantha, Stephanie, Chris, Ramos, Eric, Karen, Highland Horde, Danny, Tania, Sarah, Kay, Linda, and Jennifer. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being a part of our 3 Witches and a Druid family. Let us continue to inspire and uplift each other, and may our collective energy bring light and love to the world.
Until next time, everyone, merry meet
Merry
part.
and merry meet again.
Blessed be.
This has been 3 Witches and a Druid podcast. Thanks for listening.